Everybody, this is Perch. What's wrong with Captain America? Why is he mired in kind of the comics he's been in? If you're a fan of comics, if you're a fan of a lot of kind of classic Captain America stories, and you've heard Joe and I do the retrospectives on Mark Grunwald's run, which had a lot to it. Grunwald was on the title for forever, like one of the longer runs that a writer has been on a book. And his run is characterized by a large number of things. If you just start to like list out what he accomplished in that book, we had highly political issues, certainly. We had Captain America Steve Rogers questioning kind of the shadow government and the manipulation there, and it was definitely a political story. Not politics like we kind of think about it today, where it's more ideological. I wish actually people would get more accustomed to like stop labeling everything politics. And it's more an ideology than a politics kind of argument, I think, in most cases. Because you look at Grunwald's run, where Captain America gave up the shield and John Walker came in and all that, definitely heavy politics. I mean, lots. But it was less about, as an ideological divide, or at least as we define it today, and more about kind of what it means to be a hero. It was at a different level. But regardless, we also had adventure stories. We had that Bloodstone hunt. We had crazy things where Cap got addicted to poison, in this case a drug. But his Captain America had a lot of everything. You had action, you had politics, you had some romance in there where they had this very slow burn with Captain America and Diamondback. There's a lot to it. But then we had a couple we've talked about before. Captain America seemed to kind of lose focus for a while, and definitely became a lower priority on Marvel's publishing slate. And then Mark Waid came in with Ron Garney, I believe, and turned in a hell of a good Captain America run. And then that got interrupted to give the title to Rob Liefeld. And after a year, it went back to Mark Waid, and he kind of continued his run. But it did feel like the knees got capped out from under that run. And I mean, it was good, but it wasn't anywhere close to as good as it was leading into the Heroes Reborn stuff. But then, and it's all subject to opinion, of course. This is mine. And then we kind of, they tried a couple different things. They tried Cap in the Marvel Knights kind of world for a while. And then Ed Brubaker came in with a big idea. And the big idea was going to be this long form story with the Red Skull and Cap, kind of, again, questioning America a little bit to some extent, and kind of where he lands. Where does he fit in this time period? So a lot of kind of more introspective work, deeper work. People categorize Brubaker's run as a spy thriller, and it's remembered fondly. We did a retrospective on that as well. It's interesting to me because in listening back at that retrospective that we did, that Cap run is not as good as I remember. However, I think a decent amount of that is that I'm letting my perspective. I can't speak for Joe, of course, but I'm letting my perspective get colored by the fact that we've seen this same story get repeated 5 or 6 times. And so it's kind of cheapened what Brubaker did it to some extent, because people have come in and kind of repeated what Brubaker did. Most recently with the Ta-Nehisi Coates run, and a little bit what Cantwell's doing in the United States of Cap. So the challenge is, where does this leave us with Captain America? Well, we have a brand new Captain America title on Marvel Unlimited, where they're kind of pushing there. And what is now? I think the secret is in the type of story that they're putting out on Marvel Unlimited for Cap. And let's take a look at Marvel Unlimited for a moment. They're trying to more or less compete with Webtoon. They're trying to build up interest in their platform. And the stories that they're doing there are designed to be either light, like you have that Stupid Shark story, or Scotty Young doing the Marvel heroes as kids, or they're designed to be kind of introductions. You look at the Black Widow story by Mark Russell; it's very much kind of a one-shot, introducing people to the world of Black Widow in the comics. The Shang-Chi series is reportedly going to be very similar, where it's going to be a limited series. It's going to kind of, the intent is, hey, people saw this character for the first time in the movie, And this is a way to kind of, remind people that there is a comic book out there and kind of reintroduce them to the character in the form of a comic. So the Captain America story really falls into that category. It's trying to take people who are movie audiences, people who know about Captain America, of course, because he's been around forever, but not necessarily big comic readers of him. And the go-to story that they picked is that a bunch of Nazi white nationalists have kidnapped the Liberty Bell, or stolen the Liberty Bell. We'll go with that. And they are basically saying they have to meet with Cap. They kind of infer that it's because they want the credibility as a white nationalist hate group of having Captain America talking to them and acknowledging them. The kind of the deep thought of this story is that Cap will give them basically credibility for even just meeting with these people who are just monsters, and that's the plan. And of course, Captain America doesn't want to shake hands with the Nazi, and it gets a lot of excuse for the writers to put things in there about Cap wouldn't talk to Nazis and so on. But what does that say about our ideas for Captain America? You have this character who's been the leader of the Avengers many times, who's a decorated soldier, who's got super strength and agility and everything else, the shield defies physics and kind of how he can throw it and come back and everything else. And we've seen him taking on almost everyone. And we see him as that brave soldier who just charges into battle to do the right thing. With all of the different story possibilities that you can do with Cap, like if it's like, hey, here's an introduction to Cap. Well, we're going to have Cap, interact with Batroc the Leaper, and he's got a new, band of cronies, and they're trying to steal from banks, and Cap has to go fight them off. I mean, there's not a lot of depth to that story. It certainly doesn't come anywhere close to the amount of complexity that Brubaker put together in his run. But if we're talking about an introduction level story in a digital app, that kind of story would make sense. The goal is not to be very deep. The goal is not to create some, big storyline there. The goal is to, provide a snapshot of what Captain America is all about. Well, from Marvel's perspective, the story we're getting is that snapshot. Because unfortunately, the character is locked, just like he's frozen in ice. The very concept of the character is frozen in this Cap beats up Nazis. That's why this cover keeps getting shown of him punching Hitler and everything else. And before you jump in here and go, well, yes, he did beat up Nazis. That's core to his origin. Absolutely. But why I bring up Grunwald's run and Stern, who worked on the book as well, they put a lot of effort into showing that Captain America could do more than just beat up Nazis. And in fact, in many ways, Grunwald had said at one point that he really didn't want to keep doing stories where Cap fights Nazis because Cap is a much more powerful symbolic character. Shows there's so many things he can do that just having him be like, oh, we got some Nazis, better call in Cap, felt like it would diminish the character. And I think that what we have today is that there's two tropes that Captain America is stuck with, he's handcuffed with. One is, are there Nazis, are there white nationalists, racism, that kind of stuff? Are there bad people that are racist, bigots, hate people? Then Cap has to fight them, Never mind, by the way, and this is just where my head goes, if you've got a white nationalist group who's doing evil things, and in the comics it's not like they're just marching for the freedom of speech. The racists that they show in comics are kidnapping people and burning down buildings. I mean, they're full on into murder or arson. And this seems like a classic case where you could have like Iron Man or Captain Marvel just fly in and blast them, and just problem solved. Like, Captain America is almost the least efficient way to fight this threat at this point when they're going to that level. But regardless, the other thing that Captain America is handcuffed with is the doubt of America. That we have to have Captain America reflecting that some people are unhappy with America, and we have to reflect that. It's almost like we've got this character, we've dressed him up in the flag, and he's got the stars and stripes all over him. And because of that, we have to go out of our way to have Captain America say, but I hope none of this offends you. I hope none of this is, because I recognize that the America does awful things too. I know I'm wearing these colors, but I also, I'm not happy about it. Sometimes I wear these colors and I feel guilty about what I'm doing. I support America, but I also am upset with America, and I'm so conflicted. I've got to punch a Nazi. That's kind of where we're at with Captain America at this point, because we've seen story after story of Captain America kind of, he looks out and he's sad. It's like the old commercial, if you're an old person, where they wanted to kind of send a message against littering, and so they have this nice stream and there's just crap that people have littered in this stream and on this bank, and they show a Native American there, and he's crying, or there's a single tear goes down his face at how people have disrespected the land. And that's really what Captain America has become. They have to do a comic where he's walking around and there's some thought bubbles or some captions like, I represent this country, but sometimes this country does bad things like the homeless and drug abuse and racism and bigotry and election fraud. Not election fraud in the last election. There's no election fraud in that election, but generally election fraud is bad. And I mean that's got to be. I'm saying as a joke. The last election was a shit show for everyone. I think both sides could agree on that. Anyway, that's the problem. Is that the company is convinced that the core of the character is, feeling both optimistic and, well, not even optimistic really, but feeling both committed and also ashamed of America. That's trope number one. And then to move the action along, because these are superhero comics, we've got to get them in a position to punch some Nazis. And that's it. That's the core we have to go back to. Just like Tony Stark, the core we want to go back to there is like, oh, he's battling some alcoholism and maybe he's lost his money and he needs to refine his armor, and half the time he's super smart and he's just building whatever, and then the other half the time he's realizing that he's not as smart as he thinks he is, and now he's got to recalibrate. I mean, the challenge is these characters over time start to get shaped into very one-note caricatures of themselves. And I think in Marvel's case, Captain America is by far the biggest victim of that. There's very, like, I don't even know if you could pitch. The last time we got kind of Captain America doing kind of crazy action adventure stuff was in Rominder's run. And that was just a brief blip, and Marvel seemed to aggressively want to move on from that as fast as they could. They got Spencer in there and they're like, okay, we're going to do this Hydra thing. That's the problem. And the surprising part to it, as I mentioned earlier, is that you've got this character that's pretty amazingly versatile, that can go anywhere around the world. They've got tons of built-in storylines. Again, Grunwald did amazing storylines all over the place. Some adventure, some action, some political, a little bit of everything. And it grew the character. We basically got a lot more that Captain America could be involved in. And today, the character is just trapped. Trapped to the point that when you get Captain America, and I don't know if you've noticed this, when he's in the Avengers or he's in a book that's not his, he's either a guest star or he's part of a team, Captain America becomes a background character. Nobody knows what to do with him. You just got to kind of stand there and be like, let's save the day. And then they show him running around, maybe throwing a shield, but there's not much. He just can kind of spit out a slogan or two, but nobody knows what to do with Cap. And it's because in his solo title, they're obsessed with making him question his ideals, try and figure out what's going on. And it's like, again, if by the pages of Captain America, you would think that at least half the country were Nazis, because there's an endless supply of them for him to go punch around. And again, yes, Captain America, I keep saying again, it drives me crazy because it is like Captain America is a very cool character. Just give him something else to do. I mean, anything else to do. Like, commit to 1 year and see what it does for you in sales. Commit to 1 year of a pitch of Captain America where he has got a quest, he's got something he's got to locate, some adventure he has to take part in. There's some villains there. We're going to use the other 99% of Captain America's rogues gallery that are not Nazis, and we're going to have them be the foil, or maybe we're going to borrow some villains from Spider-Man. Like, he's got a bunch just hanging around. Like, hey, we're going to... Captain America goes... Here's a pitch. There's a dire threat of a mystical artifact, and it weakens people who use magic. So somebody who's not a magic user has to go use it, but it could have disastrous consequences. And Captain America hears a Red Skull may be going after it, so he leaps into action. He's got to go find this artifact that's buried somewhere, and he gets control of it, only to realize that Mysterio has basically tricked him through the whole thing to get this, like, it's an Asgardian Norn stone or some kind of crazy shit like that, and he's trying to get his hands on it, and so Captain America unwittingly was tricked into retrieving this for a villain, and now Captain America has to pivot and go get it back from that villain who's into the wind and throwing all his henchmen and other things at Cap, and he has to repair his mistake and kind of overcome to save the day. Whatever. That's not a great idea, but I guarantee you that's going to sell better and do better than Captain America for the 5,000th time, looking kind of sadly across the block at some people painting graffiti on the wall and going, they're breaking the law, but they're also showing expression. And maybe they don't like America, but I do, but I understand why they don't. Like, enough. Anyway, I think Captain America's been the biggest victim of all this. What about you? Let me know in the comments below. Is there another character that's become so one note that they just seem trapped? You want to rescue them? Like, who's going to save Captain America? It's a meta story. Thanks for listening.